I am so excited to welcome you to tonight's exhibit at Eat Art Space. I'm Jocelyn Mathewes, and this is my little dining room gallery in Appalachia. This is the seventh and the final exhibit for 2020, and I have with me Eric Drummond Smith, who is about to go live with me, and we're going to talk about his work. This exhibit is called Ugly Done Well, and it features acrylic paintings on canvas and paper, and Eric's work is called, he calls it lowbrow pop surrealist art, and he can tell us all about it in just a few minutes. So I'm going to invite him in here, and we are going a little bit about his background and all of the things. I will be giving a gallery tour and taking you around the work a little bit so we can talk about it. And he is connecting to us right now. Thank you everybody for joining me, and I'm so happy to be doing this. I'm happy to be happy to have had so many people in this space, and so this is a very special extra treat. Let me see here.
Oh, there we
I've
go.
got some. Hey!
Sorry about that. I don't know what was happening. I blame other people.
You do not need to apologize, because I feel like every time you go live or every time you do something on the internet, it's a little bit different.
That's
So
true.
all
Very
these
true.
professional people who have staff members to like make things work for them, I'm not one of those
Yeah.
people either. So
I
are you in your studio right now?
I am. I
Oh,
am. I've been grading here all day and got actually by accident. I was cleaning up something. I got paint on my shirt earlier.
oh,
So
that
proof positive.
what is that? That's the motto for, is it Cheap Joe's, or is it the other one, or is it Jerry's Artorama that's like ruining your good clothes since 1980 or something? Like
I'm
that's
not sure, but that's totally appropriate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, so tell us, like, give us the three-sentence introduction to who Eric is, and maybe just like, when did you start doing this?
Oh, okie dokie. I'm Eric Drummond Smith. I started making art before I remember. Like literally, I've made it my whole life. I'm a associate professor of political science at the University of Virginia's College at Wise, where I study international and comparative politics. And yeah, you already said I do weird, lowbrow, neo-expressionist, pop surrealist, nuts, crazy art.
It's
Yeah,
great.
thank you very much.
Um, as we are going through any of this, feel free to type any comments to Eric, and he can answer things as we go. Um, I so you've been just doing art forever. Have
Yeah, when I was a kid, I drew a lot. And actually, I'm from a family of singers and musicians. Like that's everybody else in my family does music, and never had a knack or interest or um. Sorry, my brother's trying to call me right now. Sorry. Speaking of musicians, but I was actually what got me kind of studying the first artist I became really aware of was Eric Durr, and I was reading in the encyclopedia. I was looking up dinosaurs so that I could figure out how to draw dinosaurs. And I found out Richter by accident. I thought they were ink drawings. Of course, they were etchings, and started trying to figure out how he was drawing such wonderful things. And that's kind of started me down the road of art history in a weird, complicated way.
So, did you end up studying art history at all? Do you intentionally pull from certain periods in art history?
I did. I art was one of my majors in college, and I have actually since I'm at the studio, I can do this. All right, hold on. Here we go.
Okay. Okay.
Here's my massive number of art books, which
Oh my goodness.
most of them are used. But if I go to New York, that's the one thing I spend money on is art books. But I studied art at Emory and took all my art history courses there. And then I got my master's in East Asian Studies, and got, golly, I took a couple different classes on East Asian art history, and that had a huge impact on me. So, yeah,
So, do
that's
you feel like
a
those
little everything.
Do you feel like those East Asian studies inform this work in particular, or is it just part of the background that drives your practice?
I think I'm really interested in non-Western art, and even and not just non-Western, but like Western art traditions that are not necessarily kind of uh, the standard Italian Renaissance to Enlightenment. Like so, the other day you and I were talking about how I love Eastern European art, and I love it. I love like traditional Southern folk art, especially like Louisiana, Mississippi folk art, and I love. I actually I got a book out just in case. So there's a book, one of my old
Oh, Chinese
textbooks on calligraphy.
calligraphy.
Yeah, so like I definitely steal. I took Chinese calligraphy. I was very bad at it. I was extremely bad at and but I learned a lot about like different brush techniques and also about composition that was just crazy composition, like filling things with text. Um, but a lot of it was like a very gradual, long progression, integrating lots of different traditions, um, a lot of Mexican influences. But I love all advertisements, and they tend to be full. Like,
Can you back up a little bit? Your connection is getting a little funky.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You're saying great stuff, and I want to make sure I can hear it. So
Absolutely.
the last thing I heard was filling the page with text, and then it was a little choppy.
And then it was choppy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, your microphone might be a little bit blocked, is what
Oh, I
somebody
apologize.
commented. That's okay. This is very DIY.
I'm very sorry.
This is
This is
very
the
DIY.
dilemma of holding my phone myself. I apologize.
No, it's
Can
fine.
you hear me better now? Is that better?
Yes, absolutely. So you're filling
So
pages with text, and so that was where
filling
the
pages
idea
with
came
text
from.
and definitely like stealing from like the Mexican printmaking tradition and Chinese calligraphy, Japanese ukiyo-e. Anytime I could get like I love like the really Baroque, crazy, everything at once approach.
I'm going to give us a little bit of an example here and flip the camera around and
Okay,
visit an example of this where you've written all over this canvas, which
I did.
actually to me, the first thing I think of is Howard Finster, um,
Yes,
and his work. But it sounds as though your influence came from a different place with regard to the text on the background.
it it did, though I like kind of since come and seen like some of the art group and American folk art that's done that. And I'm sure I've been taken back from that. But like it was that I wouldn't say that was like the original origin. It really, especially the stage and printmaking traditions and advertising traditions and stuff.
Yeah, that you've always got to put the text somewhere.
Exactly. I do. And I stopped doing text. I tried early in college and I wasn't great. And I stopped for a long time and then I just kind of went back to it. Uh, and I really do think taking calligraphy, which again I was very bad at, had a huge impact on that. From it. So, yeah.
Beer. Just gonna throw that in there.
Of course, absolutely. That's a that is a insane painting. I love that painting so much. I love
Do you
that
have
all the
do you
different
have
paintings.
favorites from the exhibition? And please make sure that your microphone's clear so we can hear your favorites. Do you have favorites from among the ones that are on the walls here?
Um, that's a good question. Um, I think that that's really tough. Honestly, the Four Horsemen is probably my favorite, but I really do like every piece that's there for different
This is actually
reasons.
hard to get in the whole camera view. It's so big.
It's pretty gigantic.
Did you measure this when you set out to put it together, or did you just kind of throw it up on the wall?
I measured, I don't remember exactly how long I measured it to be, but like I measured it, I wanted to have certain proportions, and that was my main concern. So I basically, it's the full height, and then I went for certain proportions. But a big, I mean, Like I measured it, and then I was like, okay, that looks right. And then I probably ignored my measurements. Let's be honest.
Do you draw these ahead of time, or is this all just straight onto the canvas or paper?
I I am a big sketcher. I love sketching. I do it almost excessively. If I'm not writing, I'm sketching. It seems like it's one of the three. Um, so what I normally do is I start with some basic idea and I'll sketch it directly on like literally like a ballpoint pen or like pastel or something like that. About half the time I just ignore what I sketch. Um, once once I get into it, like the colors and the music or that I'm listening to or what have you, kind of change the direction. Um, so it can go in all sorts of pretty crazy directions from the original sketch. But I oftentimes I try to do like very basic compositional outlines, and then once the color fields are in place, then I come back and like I literally will just kind of intentionally ignore the the precision, I guess.
So
Um,
that's where we get these sort of like, it's almost like it's off registration. And that feels like a reference to printmaking,
it absolutely,
based on what I know now from talking
yes.
to you.
I am constantly stealing from my printmaking trip, and I actually made prints for the first time in like decades the other day.
Oh, I
Uh,
saw those. Do you have one of those goldfinch prints
I do, I
around
actually
so we
do.
can
Hold on,
see one? That would be fabulous.
let me see here.
And those are lino cuts, so you're working with acrylic, but
Well, it's oil paint or oil ink on paper on the liner cut, and then I retouched in acrylic ink. So I there we go.
there we go.
Very
Which is
pretty. I like
it's
birds a lot.
yes.
I'm a bird guy. I Audubon. We had a copy of the baby elephant folio when I was a kid,
Oh, I'm
and
not familiar with that. Tell me
it's
about
the
that.
really big version. It's Audubon's Birds of America,
Okay,
and the really like gigantic, like get a hernia if you mess with it wrong
like
version
this.
of that. Very thick, very big, like literally I think it was like 2 feet tall and a foot and a half wide. And that was where I first started trying to learn to draw birds from particularly. But I
Yeah.
always liked birds. Birds were the first thing I tried to learn realistically.
But yet they don't appear in the work that's here.
No, there's no birds there.
No,
Yeah,
there's no birds.
there's I go in like themes, waves, and
Okay.
like it's
So,
yeah. There's
so
no
do you
birds there.
feel like there's a theme underneath this work, most of which has been completed in 2020, and interestingly, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse
Yes,
completed in 2020. Were
that
those
was that was definitely a reference to the fact that we are in the year of the plague.
okay?
Um, that's uh, I read Defoe's London in the Year of the Plague a
Oh
few years ago,
yes, yes.
and
Okay.
I just keep thinking about that. I keep thinking about how amazing it is to have like these kind of moments
I'm gonna
that
flip
are maybe
around here.
horrible, but you can react to it and have some really powerful reactions. And I love like one of the things I go back to over and over is the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So
Now, what's interesting to me, and you'll have to indulge me here. My
sure.
son has really been enjoying your work. He's
Oh,
11
cool.
years old. His question for me that I could not answer though was why do they have wings? So,
Well, the way I always thought of them when I was a kid is that they were angels. Um, that they, they're these servants of the divine, and they have wings because they have this kind of purpose in the grand scheme of things. So literally, that was always my logic. Um,
so
I've
it
drawn
came
them.
from this understanding in your youth. It's not like you're it's just an intuitive.
It's a
thing.
gut instinct. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, technically, there's no reason that they should actually be those colors, since it's the horses that are that color in the actual Book of Revelations. So, but I always make them those colors too. So who
And
knows?
so, and their outfits, how did you go about deciding what they would wear and what you were referencing? Because, of course, it's very interesting that you have these like different sort of fiery halos and crowns. And were you drawing from specific sources when you were thinking about this?
I was literally kind of working from. I looked up a lot of different traditional garments of pastors and ministers and priests, and tried to give them a look that combined, not like a single kind of garment tradition, but like combined elements from multiple different uh, Eastern and African and Western forms of Christianity. And then also, like, the bull, conquest. I gave him. He's got a lot of Babylon in there. So towards the bottom, Syria or somebody like that. I'm not sure.
He's got an eye right down here.
He does. He sure does.
And
Very. That's
missing
the
missing
all-seeing
one
eye.
missing one right there. So
I don't know if he's missing or if he has a real black eye. Or I love
oh.
drawing black eyes. I give everybody black eyes. I'm not sure why, but maybe they're awesome. There's a bird. Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah,
Wait.
okay, there's a bird.
Yeah.
There's a bird. I misspoke. That's on
There we go.
me. I'm
Well. I mean,
sorry.
it's not a normal bird. Let's be honest.
No, it's not a normal bird, but it is a really fascinating piece. And I guess my other question is like, is there a reason why you picked like because I know that, I don't know if you've seen or read Good Omens, and but their idea of the four horsemen
I
is
love
not
that book.
yeah, it's not
And
necessarily a welcome idea. So you're
yeah.
connecting these things that are very interesting to connect. Are you intentionally trying to convey something?
Um. I don't know. I guess with that piece in particular, it was less like I love Good Omens, by the way. Wonderful show. The book is truly amazing. I think I read the book in like a day. Um, but I was looking to have just these metaphors for the forces of
Mm.
disaster. And I chose the animals to try and be like in some way like, and of course the skull, like representative of those forces in a very, very brute, brutal, straightforward, you know, symbolist. I love symbolist art, and I love like the Vienna Secession symbolism and stuff. But like obviously, then I also love like Tony Millionaire. So it's I don't know, like the wolf for war, and death is the skeleton. But like literally kind of playing with the ideas of these different animals, and of course the bull has very specific connotations in the Christian tradition. But so I guess to a degree, I was also fiddling with the idea of the four apostles and reinterpreting them in a kind of weird way, though I obviously didn't stick directly to that. I think that was a thought I had as I made one of my 10 million sketches of it.
Well, it certainly conveys a level of intensity that definitely comes across. And and I think something about the canvases, I mean, some of these canvases like this one behind me, they do have some prominent drips in the texture behind them.
Yes.
But I definitely noticed that you allowed more mess on this one. Like
There is a
the
lot of the wall behind me is a wreck because of that one. But I definitely like to make a mess with the paint. I like the texture. I like the contrast too of like the bold black line that intentionally flattens with the background that is
very expressionist, and then like trying to rein it in with the, again, like you said, the reference to the printmaking, and it's very like the fields of color that are very bold, but like when you see them, and I like to think my art, when you see it in person, you get like a whole radically different experience than if you just see a picture, because there's so many little textural details. And
I will say I had somebody inquire about the Four Horsemen because they really wanted it, but they didn't realize how huge it was.
Oh, it's gigantic. It is.
Because it's that thing where you see it, you see it on your phone screen and you're going, oh, but, I'm going to flip around here and show everybody that it's actually like, it takes up, I had to make a whole nother wall in my dining room, which was amazing to do. I was like, I can do this. So,
Sorry, I know it was huge. I worried about taking it, but I'm like, I also want it to be seen.
Nope, it's an amazing piece, and I'm so pleased as punch to have it. So there's so this piece, like, it deserves to be out somewhere for people to stare at it for long periods of time.
I'm really proud of that piece.
The other piece that my son really enjoyed was these two angels. And he didn't explain to me why, but I thought it was, again, it's very interesting that your angels, they have the wings. I see a Sacred Heart reference. But then there are also skulls and business suits. So it's a really delightful mashup of different symbols and the texture, like, it's very engaging at a glance, but you're also combining interesting ideas. So
I'll give you an insight into businesses. I totally
that would
have
be
a
lovely.
I remember in art history class, like my sophomore year in college, Charles Goolsby was my art history professor, and he spoke at length about the Renaissance tradition of dressing these ancient figures in contemporary clothing, and then we got into a whole conversation about how other artists since have done that, and I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna make as many of my people as possible wear contemporary clothing. So like the one time I painted Moses was wearing overalls and a tie, and I do that all the time. I like to give them that, like, to make them feel like they're American.
We've got Death and the Devil here in suits.
Totally a reference to Albrecht Dürer's Night Death of the Devil. In fact, even the devil kind of looks like Dürer's. I love the way he drew the devil. Like, the devil looks so creepy in his work. Oy vey. He's so wonderfully creepy.
Well, let me see. Is there anybody that you really want to shout out to in this space, or like tag somebody else who whose work you want to see more of in the world?
Golly, there are. Now that you say, like, I should have thought of that. I don't know why my brain has just gone blank.
No, I should have warned you about it. Usually I make people, I'm like, I'm going to ask you this.
I'm sorry. That's you probably.
It's hard.
Now, and I've just graded so much in the last week. I've lost my mind. Honestly, okay, I got one.
Okay.
Tres Gatos printmaking in Mexico is amazing.
Tres Gatos,
they do
so
such cool stuff.
TresGatos.
TRES, Gatos, like cats. Tres Gatos is amazing, and they do like tortilla printing and like hand printing, and it's really, really amazing.
So they're burnishing their blocks.
Yeah, as I knock my glasses off. Yes, they're either hand burnishing or they have a tortilla press, which they literally, it's the same kind of press basically that you would use to press directly from like make your tortilla for dinner, but they use it for printmaking, and it's rad. It's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I need to check this out because it's so funny. Like, I've seen people who do printmaking with pasta presses. I don't know if you've seen that. Like, So
I have, yes.
yeah, that's a super rad thing to check out. So
It's
Trace,
very cool. They even have, I have pinned up over there, they have designs if you want to make your own. So you can,
oh, that's super
I haven't
awesome.
made my own yet, but by gosh, I'm going to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, another thing I wanted to ask you was there is a favorite, like, do you have a favorite local eatery and beverage that you would like to share with us?
I would say, I'm gonna say for drinks, when it's not a plague, now I have a compromise.
When it's not a plague. Yeah, this is all it's not a plague.
If it's not a plague, yeah. I'm gonna go first off Wolf Hills Brewing for a beer.
Wolf Hills
I love
Brewing.
them. When things are normal, I do trivia for them on Wednesday nights and ruin people's evenings with horrible questions. Um, but then Jack's 128 Pecan is awesome.
Where's that?
That's in Abingdon. It's actually right on the same road as Wolf Hills, and it's fantastic, and everybody there is amazing. And you know what? I'm also going to say, go over to that land of Marion and get you a dip dog. I love me the dip dog.
Wait. What is this thing? See, like
What?
I'm from Boston.
Whoa!
I'm from Boston and I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
I've lived in Johnson City for 8 years, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know where Marion is, of course?
Yes, I know where Marion is. I've actually stayed at the Hungry Mother campground up there.
Oh, well, yeah, then you've been very close to the dip dog.
Okay.
Dip dog is a corn dog place.
Oh,
And
okay.
it is the best corn dog on God's earth.
In Marion, Virginia.
It's in Marion. I always think of it as kind of like in Marion, but leaning towards Chill Valley. But
Okay.
in Marion, and it is like if you go to White Top Mountain, make a day of it, stop by the dip dog, go on and accept the fact you need to wear stretchy pants, and it's amazing. It is truly
All right. Next time we end up with a road trip, you know, in the after times, that will be on my bucket list.
In the long from now, yeah.
In the after times, it'll be great. Now, in just a few minutes, you're going to be joining us on Facebook to answer questions for the audience there. But before we go, I want to share with you the gem that we have for tonight, which I'm not sure that you've ever heard of because it's kind of like a Johnson City secret. Are you familiar with Taste Buds?
I am not. I actually saw it on the website and was like, holy heck, how have I never...
Yeah, they mostly do catering. They mostly do catering. Okay. So, literally, you call and you ask like, "Hey, what do you got today?" You know.
Yeah.
And they don't always post their menu regularly on Facebook, so you got to call and be like, "I'll have some." And
that's fantastic.
They're open like 11 to 4:30 generally, and it's just this little kitchen that you walk up to, and they have some outdoor seating. Right in downtown Johnson City. So, like you got to call and ask them what they've got. And tonight they, actually it was lunch because they only do lunch, but they had a Thanksgiving meal tonight. So it's all comfort food. So there's like collards and dressing and turkey, macaroni and cheese and potato salad and a roll. And it's just, this is just for one person. So
and that's going to get delivered to my studio when?
I don't know. But it's, so if you need a place to stop, like you can just park and walk up. And actually, the gal there told me, she was like, "Oh, next time you just put your hazards on right next to the fire hydrant and come and and walk up." So, so give some love to Taste Buds next time you're in town, and we will
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been there forever, but like nobody knows about it. I've lived here 8 years, and this is my first time eating it.
Really?
I know.
Well, I'm excited to try it. I love places like that.
I'm ashamed, but we're gonna fix that. So
exactly.
Well, Eric, it's been a delight here. On Facebook, we're not going to be able to hear your voice, but you'll be hiding in the comments, so I'll see you there.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
And thank you everybody for coming and watching and for enjoying the final. You are the final one of 2020. So,
huzzah!
Huzzah!
We did it.
We've made it this far. So
exactly.
So you can be followed at Eric Drummond on Instagram.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
EricDrummond.
Drummond. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So if you want to see more of his work, he's always working. So
If I'm not doing political science, I'm doing art, or vice versa, pretty much.
it's lovely. Thank you so much for your time and for the more time that we're going to see later. I will talk to you later.
I'll
Oh,
be the
and
one who looks like me.
my son wants to thank you for your art. Bye for now.
See y'all later.